For all those who don't know us, we are PEP.
Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to the 12th episode of Fresh Start Live with Fee and Pat, where the motto is, stay ready, keep from getting ready. I'm Pat.
And I'm Fee.
Well, we got a pretty good topic today, something that's going to resonate with a little bit of all of us because we're talking about failure versus success.
Yeah, interesting topic. So the reasons that I've been saving this topic for so long, I'm trying to get our guest in here, and he canceled on me like I don't know how many times, 3 times.
3 times.
So 3 failure attempts.
I mean, the fourth time's a charm. I think about personal failures and successes, man. I think over the years, my primary successes have come from 2 places. One, I believe, fatherhood, but the other is education. As far as failure, I think my biggest failure has come when it comes to relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, think about this show too. All right, so we have our intention, what we want to do with this show, right? And we're on the 12th episode, and so I don't know about you, but every time we get close to doing it, and I'm not prepared, my mind say, you know what? Let's skip this one. Let's skip this one. Let's just not do this week. But and then if I'm doing that, I think I gave in to a failure mark.
Yeah, and that sounds like me with working out. I'll go good, and then it's like, you know what? I'll skip this day. Before you know it, a year gone.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here still trying to get it off. But
so I'm watching a lot of other YouTube channels, and some of them, like as soon as they release a video, they have like 10,000 viewers. But then I go back to when they first started, and a lot of these have like 30, 40 views on their first few episodes. No. So that gave me a little encouragement. It just so the road to success is it takes a long time.
It's a process, not an event. I mean, who would actually probably start something and be successful the first time? Probably somebody who already had a following somewhere. Say, I'm going to do a podcast or I'm going to do a show. So they bring in that. Mm-hmm. When you're organically growing, you may not see the growth or what you expect, and it feel like failure. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it's different pictures in the frame. And put them all together. Mm-hmm. You gave me a good example earlier. You was talking about failing riding a bike.
Yeah, it came to my mind when I, teaching my daughter how to ride a bike for the first time. So when they sat on a bike and paddle, and then they fell off their bike, if they quit right there, that moment when they fell off the bike, it's a failure. Right, but then she got up again, and then we tried again, and then she fell again, and then for that particular day we stopped, and then we went in, and it felt like a failure because she fell, she didn't want to do it again. But the next day we came out, and then she got on a bike, and then she ride again, and eventually she rode her bike around and around and around that day. So if I take a moment and look at all the time that she fell, those are failures. But if you're looking at like a motion picture, the whole process of her learn how to ride a bike, it was a success.
Yeah. I mean, because even in her failure, she was still progressing because she wasn't where she started. Each time she fell in a different place.
So that's the same thing with our lives, and I guess PEP brother too. Most of us, when we get out of prisons, we don't want to go back to prison anymore, and we keep saying, we're not going to fail.
Yeah. But it's a process, not an event.
Yeah, it's a process. It's a Polaroid.
And the key is to not let a moment become a lifetime.
So, what are some of your biggest snapshots in life, or the one that you remember the most?
My biggest snapshot in life
Or not even big. Something that is always in your head.
I think I lent more energy to the role of father than anything in my life
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have one, and that was the whole time that I was preparing. That was the main thing that stuck to my mind is how am I going to succeed at this? How I'm going to be good? And I had a lot of failures. I don't know if you remember tell you about, but I had a lot of failures and a lot of fights. You know, even when I got out and got in that role, it was a lot of bumpy times.
I got one story to tell you. So I was on 59 South with driving, and there was a truck behind me, a 18-wheeler, actually driving a little bit crazy, right? And so I said, you know what, I'm not going to let this guy cut in front of me. So as he's trying to cut in front of me, I speed up, right? And he speed up so fast that he think that he cleared me, but he wasn't, because I speed up as much as he did.
Right.
So when he cut over, he smashed my my car, and he smashed it just a little bit, and then he just keep on going because he was driving such a big truck, he didn't even notice that he hit me.
Wow.
So to me, I felt like that's a failure in my decision.
No.
You know, but and then it causes, not causes me. It make me become a better driver. It make me become a
better,
calmer
more
driver.
wiser driver. you playing chicken with 18-wheeler?
So you see how you're taking a failure moment and actually is helping you become a better, drivers, and pay more attention to a role. And,
Other people's failures are doing that for me because I get tired of seeing these road rage incidents on the freeway. Failure. Okay, I'm not going to do that.
So what about PEP brothers? What's some of the failure you see them face, and what they do with those?
Relationships. I think a lot of failed relationships lead to a lot of failures for guys, and you see two extremes. You see the extreme where they allow the failures to continue because they get bogged down in shame or whatever and won't ask for help. Then you have the other flip side of the coin, the guys who get in that failure and will reach out for help and look for ways to do things different.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. And I guess the other would probably be drugs and alcohol, relapsing drugs and alcohol. And it's pretty much the same outcome.
Yeah, relapse is one of the big things. And, you relapse one time, you still have the capacity to really walking away from it. But some continue doing it.
And it's always the first time. It was the first time when they got caught in the failure. It was the first time.
So in PEP, every time that a guy relapse, they, we kind of give them like a chance,
right?
So it's called Cruise 180, and we always have it there. So the guys say, hey, I'm sorry for what I did. It was the wrong decision. I'm not going to do that again. And so come back, crew 180. But majority of the time, guys that in Cruise 180 will not make it.
Yeah. I think those are the situations where the failure has started to play on their pride, as opposed to the why I'm in the Crew 80. It's the fact that I am in the Crew 80 that takes guys and keep them in their failure. And before you know it, they'll violate something in Crew 180 and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've seen guys who've actually completed Crew 180.
Yeah.
One of the guys I recall, his first name was just say Donald. But I don't know if you remember, but there was a car that was parked in front of the office for about 3 months. But
Yeah.
he parked the car, gave me the keys. I gave the keys to Max. But he was committed, and now he's in Arkansas, Arizona, one of those states, you know, and being a father, being productive. So, yeah. You know, and I think even in thinking about, like, some of our programming, the growth of our programming, where it may look like failure, and I'll use the Big Idea Canvas that we're doing now. Why don't you explain Big Idea Canvas for our audience who don't know what it is?
So Big Idea Canvas is a similar version to PEP. Is it 4 boxes?
That's Foursquare, yeah.
Yeah, Foursquare. So PEP use the Foursquare to help you crystallize on your idea, your business idea. And Big Idea Canvas was started by this guy who wrote the book, Nail It, Scale It. And he trying to help his audience to kind of fine-tune their thinking on how to create the business in a way that you can launch it and nail it, and then later on scale it, multiply it. The reason we're using that now instead of the 4 boxes, we want to elevate the PEP business plan. Because typically when we have guys that come into PEP, they want PEP not because of the business, they want PEP because they want to be better. And the business a little bit scared them, so they pick something very, very easy to do, like launch care or mobile barber shop. And then get to the point where they're not even writing their business plan. They just look at the business plan from the previous class and kind of copy everything.
Right.
So using the Big Idea Canvas is we're trying to address that issue. We're trying to help them formulate their thinking on articulate the business idea. So it's a little bit drastic change from what we've been doing for I don't know how long now.
Right. And I think one of the things we're already seeing in our rollout, as we've already rolled it out at Cleveland, is a failure in that we're battling the past with us as in prison staff, servant leaders, and so forth from what was. Yeah. So we're still hearing more towards the product offering as opposed to who's my target audience, what's the problem, here's the solution. And we were able to work a little bit better in that process at Estes, who's actually going to roll theirs out this week, which we're going to talk about a little later. But, and like you say again, we may have a failure, but when we put it together, we'll be able to see the success in it, and that'll, the guys will be able to see it also.
So, like when you're in the midst of it, you're just seeing everything is all chaotic. It's that's what it is right now. Is a lot of changes inside.
Yes.
A lot of guys don't know, what we're trying to do, and then once they don't know what we're trying to do, and then they can't pick up the phone and call us. They just fill in the blank, and then fill in the blank is just use whatever they used to know. No. So we would really struggle with the first set of videos that we went to the event with. Yeah. But we're still trying. Another thing that first time we started that we think was like a failure, but right now it's like this is one of the best things, was bringing family into graduation.
Yes.
Right. So when we first tried to do that, I mean, there was a lot of talk about that's not going to work. The system won't allow you to do that. They're going to smuggle stuff in there. All kind of issue that you couldn't think of. And sure, when we started, we ran into all kind of issue. But it's now it's like it's a success.
Yes.
And we like these class right here are going to graduate. They're not going to have the graduation, like we used to have. Right. The family not be allowed to come in, but we felt like that's just something that is needed.
Yeah. And that's a failure, but I don't think that it's going to be that big of a failure because the guys before them was the first part of that failure because they didn't have family either. So unlike previous classes who are able to put those old habits and old ideas on them, there's not going to be anybody when they complete talking about, yeah, your family going to come and you're going to get this, you're going to get this, because they haven't experienced that. So, and as we get ready to move all that back into play, we'll be able to see failure, put it together. Oh, okay. And even that'll come back different and better.
See, we're on the topic failures, and it's a time for our weekly reconnaissance mission.
PP blind date.
So, how was? I remember last week you said that this week's blind date will be you, and not one but two.
So this blind date, PP blind date, was a direct reflection of my dating life because it was a failure. So I went to pick the brother up, got ready to drive off, got maybe 10 feet from the house, and he say, "Oh yeah, I got a monitor." So I'm like, I got a bag up, taken back to the house, and he informed me Monday that he'd had 2 violations over the weekend. So I'm responsible for one, and I apologize. So I'm gonna let one of these guys know tonight that I'm gonna take him to lunch tomorrow. And I come back from lunch, we'll be ready to record, and we'll have one on there.
I think you can bring lunch to them tomorrow, since you're going to be stopping at my favorite place.
Burritos. So before we get to the next segment, let's acknowledge our guests real quick. I see Preston Wood Storage. That's a new one. Roger, we see you. XCOM Fitness, we see you. BK in the house. Preston Wood Storage. Represent yourself.
I think that might be Willis.
Okay. See you, Willis. So?
All right, so our guest is a friend of mine. I've been trying to get him on this show several times. Finally, he's here, and he has a lot of very colorful stories. So
well, let's get him before he disappears.
All right, so Hector, come join us.
Whoop.
What's going on, guys?
Man, I was beginning to think you
Pat?
didn't exist, bro, like a
I'm
Bigfoot.
still around.
I kept hearing, we got Hector.
Yeah, here we are. We haven't gone anywhere.
All right. So you've been with us for a long time, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you came out. You were really great. You're doing really well. I think you started your business right away when you first got out, right?
Actually, I didn't. I was in the Covington House, and I started working for a sign company. Bootstrap financed my company now, as we call it in PP.
Okay.
Put your boots on and go to work every day. Save your money.
So tell us what happened. There's some period that you kind of like separated from PEP.
Well, I went to a halfway house, the Covington. One of the first things I said is I'm not going to get in a relationship. I've seen how my other brothers were doing when I would come inside, and it was bad for you. I stayed away from it. I started working. But the pressures of life got to you. I mean, remind you guys that when I was incarcerated for quite a bit, I was in the church choir. I'm all for staying on the right path when I get out. And let me tell you, man, the enemy is for real. He will attack. And I wasn't expecting this attack. And I fell off. I started drinking, which led to other things. PP found out about it. I got separated. It was that down point in my life that I knew one thing. Either I had to change or I was going to go back. And I decided to stop drinking. And as soon as I did, everything falls into place. The attacks are still there, and they will happen. Once again, guys, the enemy never rests. So I had these great expectations, and they all came crashing down. They all came crashing down with the drinking again. And the enemy wants to keep you down. So it's not how many times you fall, guys. You understand. It's how many times you can get back up. So I got back up, dusted off, and moved forward. I'm going on 4.5 years sober, without a drop of alcohol. I married the love of my life. Married. Just last year, we celebrated a year, but I've been with her for 9. So God has that woman for you, or you just be patient, guys. Don't try to rush into relationships that are going to cause you trouble. I see it in her family side, and they're not even part of any program. So females can wait and let everything fall into place. Do you before you do anybody else. Would be my
So let
advice.
me ask you this on that point right there about waiting for females. Is it that females wait, or do you keep failing in building yourself to prepare for a
You
relationship?
keep failing in yourself. Yeah, and you're looking in all the wrong places.
So what are some of the steps that you took when you you feel like you was failing?
First, I had to separate myself from the environment that I was in. It was a toxic environment. Not only did my brother, my uncles, everybody that I was hanging around with was drinking. Hang around the barbershop long enough,
Get a haircut.
we're gonna get a haircut. I'm married to a
Except for
beautician.
me, huh?
Well, me too, bro.
Now I can, now I can be around it. We go to gatherings and people are drinking. It doesn't bother me at all. But at the time, yes, I had to separate myself. People, places, things. I've gone to AA. I understand the drill. So I mean, my whole incarceration was over DWIs. Four times to the penitentiary off DWIs. 4 times have you? So I never learned.
Right.
Never really learned. So I've done all the AA. I did everything, and PP actually saved me, man, from the same things. But although was it saved? So I was the problem. I was the problem. So you search deep within you to be able to change your life. So I can't help nobody unless I help myself first.
So I know even though you was separated from the program, you was still connected us, through, sometimes the events, sometimes you call me out of the blue, sometimes you just showing up to the office. How does it feel to do things like that? Because most of the guys, when they fail, they just don't want to have anything to do with PEP anymore.
You got to want it, man. This program, I wanted it from the very beginning. From the time that Marcus Hill interviewed me at my unit before I got brought to the Cleveland unit, I wanted it. There was guys in there that wanted to separate me from in there, and we went through all the assessments and everything, character assessments. Out here, you ask the guys that work with me, hey, Hector's the boss. He's got a strong attitude. That's me, man. I can be a better me, and I will be a better me, and it just takes time.
I want to ask the question Fee just asked in a different way. Because in thinking about other guys, other situations, did you ever think PEP failed me or I failed?
I felt it. But PB was always there for me.
Yeah.
Anytime I'd contact Fee, I was always invited to Super Bowl parties, whether you're separated or not. Guys don't use that by all means. But if times do get hard and you end up getting separated, man, PEP is always going to be there for you to the very end. They're still there for me. And here we are.
Bro, why you trying to have people calling my phone, bro?
They will. I heard that interview, Pat, now. I need back in. You got to prove yourself. This is, they're looking at you. They're looking at you closely, man. They stay in touch. You stay in touch. And they know they have a good way of looking at somebody and seeing where they're at in life. So you can't pull the wool over their guys' eyes, that's for sure.
One of the things I always share with the guys is something that Fee asked me before I got out. And I do this with guys all the time. Fee asked me, he say, what are you going to do when you fail? And at the time that he asked me, I was kind of like, this dude was holding him on me already. But I understood what he was talking about because it didn't have to be a large failure. The reality of it is I failed many times since then. But I think because I hold on to him asking me that, in my response or get back ups, I hold on to that because it's something that's been back here in the back of my head, just waiting to go into action.
PP is a strong tool for me. I use it. I use it. The integrity part, the accountability. And I'm teaching my guys, my hire-ons about it. So I don't take no BS from anybody when it comes to that. If you do get fired, you're fired. But that's an easy way. The easiest thing to do is fire somebody.
Right.
The hard thing is walk it out with them.
Right.
So I've never fired. There's my wife over there. I've never fired none of my guys. Although a lot of them deserve to be, I don't, because that's easy. I said I can fire you and replace it any time, but that's the easy part. So I always give chances. Why? PP gave me a chance. Everybody has given me chances. More chances than I probably deserve. So am I doing better than I deserve? Probably, but I'm following the steps that were taught to me and using all the business skills that were given to me in this program to continue being the man and the company that we can be.
And I remember you came in like very, very close to the bottom in your character assessment. Like,
Yeah. I remember
By the
Hector
grace of God.
arguing with me a couple of times.
By the grace of God, I made it through that character assessment. You know, I work on my character all the time. And guys, it's even worse for y'all now, from what I've been told. So, you know, step it down a level. Don't fake it till you make it. Step it down a level, or just show who you are, man. You know, slowly but surely, you know, be the man that you know you can be. You know, I've completely changed from then, you know, because I'm a strong in character, but, you know, you got to be a strong 8, like the Enneagram says, you know, and not a dangerous 8. So I use them tools to my advantage a lot.
so what kind of business you run right now?
We started our business 3 years ago called Allstate Signs, but I worked for 3 years, bootstrap finance in my company, and I saved up all my money, bought our first crane truck. Our first year was $80,000. We are now close to $250,000 this year. Mm-hmm. So does it work, guys? All the tools that these guys are giving you, yes. Some of your best assets are sitting right there in them classrooms with you. They're called graduates. Stick with them. Them guys will tell you what you need to find out. I'm telling you, man, these graduates, I was class 13. So 12 helped me out a lot. Listen. And don't be so bullheaded. These guys know what they're talking about. So everything worked out. I look at my financials almost every day to see where I stand. So I've never lost. That interested me more than any character assessment anywhere, was the knowledge of these 3 financial statements. And then the rest came later.
Okay, what are those 3 financial statements?
Your balance sheet, your cash flow statement, and your profit loss. Never forget them. Look at that cash flow statement every day, brothers. I'm going to tell you, you need to know where your cash flow's at every single day. That's how you're going to run your business, especially if it's an accrual method of financing. Because that's it, because you sold it don't mean it's in the bank. So, yeah, they teach you everything, man. So I'll stick with these guys. And this is our best asset, even outside. They help you with everything.
So I'm going to throw a wrench in the game right here, Hector, because I want to ask this question for you and Fee. So I'm looking at failure and I'm looking at success, and I'm looking at this verse like a bridge. What 10 driving value immediately pop out as the bridge between failure and success for you?
Integrity. Immediately. Doing the right thing when no one else is looking. And that applies to everything. That means inside them halfway houses, inside the covenant, that means everywhere. When you're by yourself out there, integrity.
Boss man?
I mean, I have to agree with them.
You know, I think about something we didn't bring up earlier when we was talking about failures. I think about these.
Oh.
You know, and thinking about, because I think the message in this, it kind of lays out the bridge. Can they see that?
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
I'm thinking about
Perfect.
that word transcend, how it encompasses all the 10
words.
drive values.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to make a comment on something.
Yeah.
You know, it's I might get in trouble for this, but who cares? You know, so the
Hold up, bro. I'm saying about my big back.
no. As I would say, our first attempt trying to make this shirt, you know, we have that word transcend right there, but we use all white letters,
Yeah.
right? And nobody noticed that transcend was there until we put that black letters there, and it's popped out.
Black letters matter. Yeah.
Sometimes a combination of some color is a
Black,
good thing.
brown, and white.
Yeah.
All right, Hector, it's great that you came here to share your
Likewise.
story.
Really was.
You know, we
Apologize for the 3 lost attempts, but there was a lot of work out there. It still is.
Make it easy for you to come back next time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime.
we do this 6:00 every week on Tuesday. All right, so anytime you have available,
Okay.
give us a call.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of time we got to stay ready.
To keep them getting ready.
I got you.
We also thank you for another first. We had our first live female audience today. Thanks to Hector.
There you go. Hi, guys.
All right, PEP update.
Yes, sir. So let's go inside for the update. As we've kind of alluded to at previous points through this recording, we're prepping for a double event this week. So we're doing the Big Ideal Canvas rollout at Estes, but also we're doing our first rollout for our product and service offering workshop at Cleveland.
Yeah.
And what that is, those are the nine groups represented by the CEO, CFO, CMO, pitching their product offering, which is going to be reviewed by a series of executive volunteers and provide feedback. And that's also going to be in the video virtual format.
All right. So outside, we continue calling guys who have started their business and interest in the B2B out here. I believe the rest of those guys making over 150 something call. All right, and then we have a lot of guys interested in eSchool 200, which is for guy who already started a business or want to start a business and want to learn more, learn about the 3 financial statement, and that way they can manage the business better.
That's right.
So that's what eSchool 200 is about. You know, not only you learning what is necessary to run your business or to get your business to the next level.
All right, fellas. So we got some special guests who've joined us online. We got Miss Kelly. Kelly says, "Hello, Dad." We have Miss Anita Cuellar. She's in studio. Tim Stovall, thanks for joining us, bro. Hope you're not driving a truck and while you're on. Daniel Gonzalez, I see you standing strong. And there was somebody else I saw at the bottom. Scroll down there. Hey, Sergio, glad you could join us again. Jay Moe in the house. Miss Crystal Geddes.
It's my daughter.
Hey, so we got both of Hector's daughters on there. You got more daughters?
Oh, yeah, I got 4.
We got two
Two
of
of them
four.
are missing. 2 of them are
Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you're so proud of your dad. Y'all just keep him in line. So, Hector, since you're here today, we're going to kind of utilize you in our Starbucks quiz, but you can't answer this, bro. You know what? This PEP staff, y'all can't answer this either.
Can't answer.
Your family can answer, but you can't give them the answer.
Okay.
So, what personality assessment did we use before the MBTI? Uh-oh, Kimberly, another daughter is here. Okay, 3/4. Uh-oh. Again, what personality assessment did we use before the MBTI? Going once, going twice. John Simpson, thank you for joining us. Nobody want to attempt?
I'm type 5.
You're type 5. I'm an 8 with a 9 wing.
What are you?
I'm an 8
Yep.
with the 7 with the 9 wing. Yeah.
See, there you go. All right, fellas, y'all can't ask for no more of that. We done gave y'all enough time. So, Hector, we're on a mission to celebrate 1 million stories, man, and with you, we're one close to that goal. Fellas out there, keep this in mind, man. Freedom demands responsibility, but responsibility demands accountability.
Amen.
So until we meet again, peace.
All right.
Love y'all.
See y'all next
Stay
week.
strong.